You are up, Commissioner.
All right, Bannock County Commissioners are now in session. First item on our agenda is indigent business.
Yes, Chantel with Indigent Services. The first case I have for you is case number 2024-0020. It's an application for cremation expenses through Wilkes Funeral Home in the amount of $1,200. The deceased is a 72-year-old male. He is a Bannock County resident, was not a veteran. With all of the information I did obtain, it does appear that they meet criteria to be eligible for assistance through the indigent program. Bannock County is the last resource for payment of these final expenses, and there is no responsible party available for repayment of this request at this time. The next case that I have for you is case number 2024-0017. It's an application for cremation expenses through Cornelison Funeral Home in the amount of $1,200. The recommendation is a denial of this application pursuant to Idaho Code 313403. Bannock County does not appear to be the last resource for payment of these final expenses based on the information provided on the application. Bannock County is not able to establish indigency at this time.
Mr. Chair, on case 2024-0020, I recommend approval, I move that we approve per the recommendation. And on case 2024-0017, I move that we deny based on recommendation.
We have a motion. All in favor, say aye.
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 Thank you.
Thank you. All right, Christie, you're up.
Christy Clauser, Comptroller. I have before the board a notice of intent to not renew our lease query software. We tried using that to track all of our leases and it did not work very well. So when you sign the engagement letter with Woodfleet, they took that over. So we're now doing that through them. It'll be about $4,200 that we're not paying on lease query, but I can't remember how much we pay Woodfleet. It's just
Okay.
extra little thing.
Questions? Motion?
Mr. Chair, I move that we authorize chairman's signature on the letter to not renew.
We have a motion. All in favor, say aye.
Aye.
Aye. All right, Shanda.
Good morning, Commissioners. Shannon Crystal, Chief Procurement Officer, and I have with me here today,
Buddy Romero, Public Works Assistant Director.
and we have two items before the board. The first one we'd like to discuss is a recommendation to award the chip seal aggregate material invitation to bid. We went out for bid, and we had a couple different options for suppliers. We wanted to know whether or not, if they delivered it, what price that was, if we picked it up, what price that was, and then we also added an alternative specification. We wanted those subject matter experts to be able to say, well, I don't have the item you're speccing out, but I have something that's close to it, and to see if that was going to work with us. So we did get two bids back in. One of them did have an alternative specification for us, and that specification has been reviewed and has been found acceptable to us. And we would like to recommend that we award the chip seal aggregate material invitation to bid to Sunrock, doing business as Tepatco, for the alternative specifications that we will pick up here out of their yard in Chepic for $17 per ton.
Okay, questions?
No. John, did you look through all this?
Not all of it, but I understand what they're doing.
And you like it? You like it?
The only thing that would give me pause is the technical part of it, and if these guys have reviewed it, and they say it meets the technical specifications, that's all I'd be concerned about.
Okay. I don't have any questions.
All right,
So I do have letters for the commission to sign if they would like.
a motion.
Mr. Chair,
Look at the letter.
yeah, look at it real quick. Mr. Chair, I'd move that we award the contract to Sunrock DBA Potco as presented.
We have a motion. All in favor, say aye.
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 The second item we have before the board is requesting a signature on the bulk fuel contract with Parkland USA Corp., doing business as Conrad Bischoff. This is also a procurement that we went out for this year, trying out an annual service to see if we can save the county money on having a single contractor. Along with having a single contractor, we're also hoping to identify if there's any impurities with the fuel that we're receiving. Right now, it could be from any of the multiple suppliers that we use. Going to one, it's going to be limited to their suppliers and where they got their fuel from. So there's a couple of different efficiencies we're hoping to find. That contract has been reviewed by legal and before the board. If there are any questions or concerns.
I was going to ask John again, because this is your specialty.
This is my specialty.
So
This is a little different than the way I've seen them done, but I think it's interesting to try this method. I don't have any issues with it, so I'm interested to see how it works out.
Okay, thank you.
And we had a couple of little blips.
With their
One was the insurance, and we got that all taken care of.
Mhm. So that ended up, by glitches, we went back and forth with our legal department a couple different times on some terms we had in the contract. The most recent one, we changed it on page 5. And the bottom paragraph, we adjusted that, and it was approved by legal that we would accept certificates of insurance evidencing the insurance policy that is required under this agreement. He felt that that was sufficient to stand upon if there was a problem. There could be legal recourses to demand that policy based on this language.
Okay.
No further questions. So, Mr. Chair, I'd move that we approve the contract with Conrad and Bischoff as discussed.
We have a motion, all in favor, say aye.
Aye.
Aye. Jason.
Thank you.
You're representing Kyle too?
Yeah, he's off sick this morning, so,
Yeah, you just didn't want to come before us again.
yeah, maybe so. No. So I'm just here this morning to seek approval on the county fleet services policy that was presented to you. Looks like Kyle sent it out to all department heads, and he had a few responses. Mostly were all positive. Jeff had requested a change, and then Christy made a few changes, and I believe Jason did. And they were all in there, and from what I gathered, this information was sent to you. I don't know if you have any further questions on it.
And the only thing I wondered, or quite a little bit, is we have a no smoking policy.
Okay.
And that is vaping, smoking, and stuff. What about smokeless tobacco? What about chewing? I mean, is that part of it?
Is that a part of the regular county policy? If it did, then it should mirror it in here, but if it's not, then maybe we should just include it in both.
As I read through that and stuff, that's it just, like I say, usually it is included in most smoking policies and procedures. I mean, if it isn't in a county policy, I don't want somebody sitting at their desk and walking up to a customer with tobacco in their mouth. Or, it's just one of them deals that, I mean, it's an easy addition, but
Yeah, we can add it if that's something you'd like to add.
thoughts?
That's fine with me.
I would say add it.
Well, and that's what I just, when we step out of a vehicle and represent the county, I don't want that drooling down somebody's face. Or I don't want it on the side of the door. I don't want, just one of them deals. As I read through there, but other than that, everything else was good with me. We can approve it,
Okay.
that addition, and sign the cover sheet.
I would like to commend you guys on the work that you've done on this. I know you've been working on it for a long time.
Yeah,
Looks
thank
good, well done.
Thank you.
So, Mr. Chair, I'd move that we approve the Fleet Services Policy and Procedures Manual with the addition of the smokeless tobacco thing that we just discussed.
Okay.
and go forward.
We have a motion, all in favor, say aye.
Aye.
Aye. And you're up next, buddy.
So lastly, I just had a exceptional placement for a seasonal employee that's returning with us this summer. I'll try to avoid the executive session and won't give any names, but he's been with us. This will be his third season. He's done exceptional. He's a great asset to the team, and with the limited applications we get, I'd like to figure out how to keep him around. So I believe last year we had him at a step 2, so we're looking at putting him at a step 3, grade 5 this year, which would be a 67-cent increase. After talking with the board last year, they advised us that we could place them where we needed to, as long as we stayed within that budget that we were allotted. So,
And I thank you for bringing this forward. So last year he was paid $15.45. And a minimum is $15.60 in grade 5. And grade 3 is a $16.27.
yes, sir.
Is that the numbers you have?
Yes.
Okay.
Yeah, so the minimum is $15.60 this year, and then the grade 3 would be $16.27.
So, but this is an individual that has been with us for a few years.
Yeah, this will be his third season.
It's also in a budgeted line that it's temporary
Yes.
employment, and there's X number of dollars. When them dollars are gone,
Yep.
the employment's gone, so.
And we typically keep them for 40 hours a week for 5 months a year. So
For 5 months or 5 weeks?
5 months.
Okay.
And so if we get towards the end where we're running out of money, we'll let them go a week earlier, whatever we got to do to manage it.
But there's times when they don't even work 40 hours, depending on if they've got stuff going on, so
Yeah, and holidays.
there's usually a
and-
little bit of play in there.
Yeah.
And holidays, yeah.
Okay. Any questions, concerns?
No, I'm happy to do it because you guys need the help.
Yeah.
Good help is hard to come by.
Okay.
Mr. Chair, I'd move that we approve the exceptional placement as discussed.
A motion, all in favor, say aye.
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 Thank you.
We'll get the sanitary form routed, and then it'll come back before the board probably on
Yeah.
Thursday.
Yeah.
Thanks, guys.
And while we're on that and talking about salary rate approval forms and stuff, we received kind of a same type deal from the public defenders, but it hadn't gone through the proper channels. It hadn't gone through payroll, it hadn't gone, so we're sending that back. The hire date on that one is the 8th of May, or the 6th of May.
So we got time.
So we have time, so we'll put that on our agenda for next week or for Thursday. So it goes through the proper channels. All right, next, under signatures only, we have March 2024 Commissioners Proceedings.
Do you want to do all of them at once? Or?
And then we'll have a consent agenda
Oh,
after
okay,
that.
sorry.
Just signature.
Mr. Chair, I'd move that we approve the Commissioners' proceedings as presented.
We have a motion, all in favor, say aye.
Aye.
Aye. After that, we have the consent agenda, which we have a certificate of residency. And then we have minutes for April 4, 9, and 10.
Mr. Chair, I'd move that we approve the consent agenda.
A motion, all in favor, say aye.
Aye.
Aye. With that being said, we'll be at recess until 11 a.m.
Mr. Chair, before we go to recess, real quick,
Shut my laptop. We're
I
done.
looked up the no smoking policy, and it doesn't say anything in there about tobacco. It just says, smoking is defined as the act of lighting, smoking, or carrying a lighted or smoldering cigar, cigarette, or pipe of any kind. Vaping refers to the use of electronic nicotine delivery systems or electronic smoking devices such as e-cigarettes, e-pipes, e-hookahs, and e-cigars. So there's nothing in the personnel policy about smokeless tobacco.
So we need to add that to it also.
Do you want to wait and do a full
Well,
review once we get the
I'd like to,
person? Or
they're already gonna change it in the audit policy. And then we can
Have it there.
just put that as a, a point that we need to change.
You want to do that as soon as we adopt the auto policy then, or wait on that?
Well, I wanna update put it in the policy for the autos, and as we make other changes, we
The
can,
personnel policy?
instead of just one line here,
Okay.
we'll look at the personnel policy. We've already had people, because in the personnel policy, the facility is non-smoking, and, or in a designated area for smoking,
Yeah,
and we haven't gone forward with that, and so we have people asking where they can smoke. Not specifically for our employees, but for people coming around the courthouse. There's been quite a bit of smoking outside the front door. And so we need to move on that, and as we move on that, well,
it does
if
specifically
we do the
state it
Sixth
here.
Street thing, I think we can designate an area.
Yeah.
And then they move the ashtray out farther, and then people won't be walking to the door with a cigarette.
Yeah, the ashtray should be, well,
Yeah.
I think state statute already says it has to be within outside of 50 feet.
Yeah,
And that used to be posted, but we put the ashtrays
right
at the front
there.
door.
Yeah.
It does say it's prohibited in all county-owned or leased vehicles in there, so that's included, but just not the smokeless tobacco. I was trying to find it while Buddy was talking, I couldn't find it fast enough, so I apologize.
Nope,